Namaste, beloveds. This is Mother with Wisdom, and this is a very, 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 very um, intoxicatingly special, juicy, informative, empowering, reaffirming, reevaluating, regenerating video today. And I'm not going to, I wrote some things, I wrote it down. I wrote down what came to me, and I will be elaborating as it comes up in my spirit to do so. And so I'm just going to get to it. The title of this particular video is The Ancient of Days, the stone the builders refused. And if you want a breakdown of this video, The Ancient of Days, I meant to look at this. Let me look this up. Um, The Ancient of Days. Sorry. The Ancient of Days.
According to Wikipedia, The Ancient of Days is a design by William Blake, originally published as the frontispiece to the 1794 work Europe a Prophecy.
Okay. Let me give you a little bit more on this, beloveds. Now it says the site can't be reached at that. There we go. Because it's Wikipedia. Okay, The Ancient of Days. The Ancient of Days is a design by William Blake, originally published as the frontispiece of the 1794 work Europe a Prophecy. Europe a Prophecy. It draws its name from one of God's titles in the book of Daniel and shows Urizen crouching in a circular design with a cloud-like background. His outstretched hand holds a compass over the darker void below. Related imagery appears in Blake's Newton, completed the next year, as noted in Alexander Gilchrist's 1863 book, Life of William Blake, The Design of the Ancient of Days. A singular favorite with Blake, and as one it was always happiness to him to copy. As such, there are many versions of the work extant, including one completed by Frederick Tatum only weeks before Blake's death. Okay, now, beloveds, there is a lot there. I would not go into this. I'm going to ask you to do this kind of research on your own because this will be too long. But I'm being told to tell you that this image, The Ancient of Days, was used in the 2006 paperback cover of Stephen Hawking's 2005 book, God Created the Integers. Also used as a design influence for the concept album by American funk band Slave, 1978. Okay, beloveds, I knew none of those things prior to just reading them right now. The Ancient of Days is a phrase, is a string of words, is a alchemical communication, is a spiritual signature, okay, is a code, if you will, that has come up for me in many times in my poetry. And many times in my other writings and short stories, when the grandmothers have visited me, I remember Dragonfly presenting herself as the Ancient of Days and speaking to me in the poem. I'll try to find all of this and I'll try to put it on my Facebook page, because all of this is directed and it is to show you the hand behind the scenes that cannot be seen, but that has been guiding everything since the first day. This is the Ancient of Days. This is a message, whether you call it a channeled message, whatever you want to call it. It's, I have received it, I'm sharing it. The Ancient of Days, the stone the builders refused. Third rock from the sun, I am the stone that the builders refused. I am the prayer that is spoken from the children of my vitality. Thy kingdom comes on earth as it is in the heavens. What does that mean? Third rock from the sun. Third rock from the sun is the earth in the Milky Way galaxy as we know it. At this time, at this point, it is this stone, it is this pebble in the waters of the oceans of space. I am the stone that the builders refused. I am the conscious awareness that you refuse to see as your creator, as your mother, as your womb, as that space which you exist in trying to fill it up with your existence and your manifested notions and philosophies and ways. And all you do is copy nature. Whose nature? Mother Nature. Mother's nature. And you're doing this now in a very finite way, in a very systematic way, in a very prophetic way upon the planet Earth. And all is convening and conveying itself in this moment. Not everybody will see. Not everybody will hear. Many will see and hear, and it'll go completely over their heads. And that too is foretold. I will make you blind. I will make you not see. I just got off the phone with a friend, my friend Edmund, whom I love dearly, and I thank Spirit for putting in my life. And out of his mind, out of his own wisdom, out of conversations that we had had before, he spoke of the magician. Magician is also in the tarot deck. Look it up. Look at the number it is. I think it's number 2. Not quite sure right now, but stay focused on this. I talk with Edmund. There are 1,000 million things going, beloved, but when you are looking for a magic trick, you are looking at the illusion. You are expecting to be tricked. You are expecting to see something that was beyond your seeing. You are expecting to be bowled over. And it's funny how these hats references keep coming up. Okay? the top hat that Magic Bunny comes out of, bowled over the bowler's hat. I'm seeing all these hats. Okay, mama. Hats go on top of the head. They cover. They are an illusion. Woo, okay. Staying grounded, beloveds. I've also used Rocky and Bullwinkle. As a child, I watched them almost religiously. Nothing up my sleeve. And instead of a rabbit coming up, you see a what? A lion. Talking about symbols and symbology. Ancient beloveds. Ancient seeds. Ancient recognition of images. Ancient messages. How you gonna hide that in the hat? You so busy looking at what can be seen with these eyes that you detach, disconnect, disown what is you, the truth of you, the spiritual of you. And it is that spiritual of you now that is speaking as the Ancient of Days. And what she is saying is that you see all the other aspects except her hand in everything. You give this person and that person and this identity and that culture and this and that and that and this all the credit. You put your faith in them. You believe in them to lead and guide and do this and do that. Because they create what? Civilizations out of stone. They are builders. They are mound builders. This came up in a couple of videos previously. This mound builders, the yoni, the original sacred mound, the Ancient of Days, that cave, that vagina, that womb space. And how we have been programmed to be ashamed of it. Be ashamed to let it be seen and be known. And that was with great intent by the builders of an alternate reality on this third rock that we call Earth. And we as star seeds and whatever else you want to call us, baby, we are here, we are rising up, and we are remembering, and we are dismantling the lie. We are removing the fake stones, and we are bringing the original stones. We are the original stones. Huh? Fifth element. Baby, it's all connected. Recognize the spiritual hand that is guiding, that is leading. Put no man's name on it. Understand that when you step forward, it is not you. It is the spirit that is guiding you. When Moses led the children of Israel out of Egypt, they went through all of 40 years and 40. Whew, he got tired of them people because they were looking to him. And he got tired of being responsible for them and feeling the way he was feeling, and his mind was whooping his ass. And he like, I'm so tired of these people. And God gave him these commandments. God gave him this and God gave him that. And what did Moses do? Moses came down and he looked at these people with their false idols and they this and that and they that and this. And the things that they trying to give credit to, the bull, the golden calf, the blah, 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 for having led them. And he does what? He loses it. He loses his composure. He loses his spiritual peace. And what does he do in his anger and in his doubt? See, he doubted, and all that God had worked through him. He doubted God's, these who do you want to save? These fools? Look at them. They didn't live through plagues and this and that and walk through the ocean and you didn't open wide the Red Sea and here they is still doing this and this. Spirit, this is who you want? Dashed them things. When he was at the water, he got mad again and God like, you didn't forget. You didn't do none of this, Moses. You and Aaron didn't lead these people. You and Aaron didn't separate the waters of the Red Sea, baby. You and Aaron didn't write these laws. You and Aaron didn't create this people. These is my seeds. And this is their storm to go through. And those that are ready will rise from it. And those that are not, they put back in the pot of potentiality once more. Until that time when that cycle is no longer, you go back into this to be reborn. Moses couldn't go to the promised land because he forgot whose hand was leading him. He let his eyes and his mind and the illusion of discontent and the chaos overwhelm him, and he wasn't able to stay focused. And he endured it as long as he could. His example serves as a path and a gateway for our spiritual understanding into the promised land. That which is given is never taken back. It's never altered. It's working itself out too. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Third rock from the sun, I am the stone that the builders refused. I am the prayer that is spoken from the children of my vitality. Thy kingdom comes on earth as it is in the heavens. The ignorant, futile polarity of war. Someone has to win and someone has to lose. War is a conscious choice, forced into a timeline by the powers and principalities that exist. as propellers. But if you think it's the propellers that has all the power and that is moving the ship, the Merkaba, and it is not how it was designed and what's within that mechanism and then all the little wheels within the wheels within the wheels. Baby, you missing the point. You missing the whole point, and you're gonna miss out. The ignorant, futile polarity of war. Someone has to win and someone has to lose. War is a conscious choice forced into a timeline by the powers and principalities. What are the powers and principalities? Thought forms, desires, energies, frequencies from eons and ages and galaxies and multiverses that have accumulated and come to a point, back to 0 point, ground zero. When you no longer choose war, when you realize the ignorance of it, peace will reign, and your sovereignty will no longer be in question. You will no longer doubt yourselves. You will know that you have full dominion, full authority over your kingdom. Because there's a higher force guiding. And you don't have to be in competition with anyone else's development, with anyone else's unfoldment, with anyone else's timeline. Okay? Spirit is being very specific right now, beloveds. The Ancient of Days speaks as one of the observers of time, 24 hours a day in human sight, numbers beyond count or measure in wisdom. The Ancient of Days speaks as one of the observers. And when I questioned that as I was writing, as I was typing, one of the observers? And they said, because the Ancient of Days is also a collective, beloveds. Okay? Everything is a collective. Everyone is not just one in the number one that we know. It is one collective. Beyond numbers. It is a stone. It is a star in the universe, in the galaxy. Okay? You have to be able to see it and comprehend from that perspective in order to understand spiritual ways and spiritual language. Because if you just try to do it from a human perspective, that hour is very short. That day only is. But when you understand the Ancient of Days, speaking of what days are, and speaking from the original day forward, but you have to empty yourself to be able to hold that. You have to purge you and everything that you've been taught and everything you've been told. And you have to go back to your instincts and intuition that you incarnated with before you knew what a day was, before you knew what an hour was, before you knew what time was, and everything was just continual. one of the observers. You Google it, there are angels in different hierarchies for different days. Okay? There are different angels for each day. There are different angels for each hour of the day. There are different angels for each second of the day. There are different angels for each month. There are different angels for each year. That is the culmination of ages, the Aquarian age, the blah, 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 blah. These are the collectives that have hierarchy over that timeline. Okay. She existed before the Sumerian Tiamat. She existed before the Milky Way galaxy. She existed before the Milky Way galaxy. When I asked her to define herself, she says, I am conscious, subconscious, and unconscious, infinite space. I am that infinite feminine womb. I am the receiver of all that is communicated, i.e., received, transmitted, transformed, and transmuted. I am the foundation on which all is built. I am the void that creation believes logically that it can fill with manifestations of its own image and energy projections and reflections of universe, one verse, one song. I am that I am. Case closed. I have had many names. There are many words to describe my essence. None do me full justice because I am still beyond your expanding conscious awareness as a sentient, sovereign being. Now, sovereign wasn't there, but I was told to add it right there. Sentient, sovereign being. I am still beyond your expanding conscious awareness as a sentient, sovereign being. Your mother, as your maker, as she who gave birth to all without, pay attention, without the penetration of logic, conception, but through the osmosis and symbiosis of instinct and intuition and the wisdom to multiply. Did you hear that? I am still beyond your expanding conscious awareness as a sentient sovereign being. That's why we can't see her consciously. And we're always, mommy, mommy, mommy. What we want is that unconditional love, and it's been given to us. It's there. And we know it's there. We know. And we try to find it in everything and everyone. And all of that is an illusion. Because she can only be found in that sacred space, spiritual space of silence and peace and unconditional love, because that is who she is. Everything else is an alternate reality. Created by what? Logic. Given birth to by what? The builder, the architects who refused the real stone. Okay? They made their own stones. They made their own bricks. I mean, the symbiology and the messages is so. Without the penetration of logic conception, but through the osmosis and symbiosis of instinct and intuition and the wisdom to multiply. There's a message in that I hope you are able to receive. There is a spiritual message in those words, baby. Through the osmosis and symbiosis of instinct and intuition and the wisdom to multiply. What was the only command we were given? Be fruitful and multiply. The rest is man-made. How you do it, where you do it, when you do it, with what you do it, and rituals and ceremonies and do. Architecture and structure. That came up in a conversation I had with another male from him. And I won't name him in this, but like I said, in this Saturn retrograde time, it is amazing what is rising to the surface. It is amazing what is, I spoke of in one of the previous videos about a boiling pot and what comes loose. And if you've ever cooked stuff, and if you've ever cooked certain stuff, you know that you have to boil some stuff many, many times and pour off all of that water, all of that filth that comes up out of it. Even your greens, the way my mama taught me about greens, the way my mama taught me about the meat you put in the greens. You boil that several times and you rewash it and you rewash it, and then you pour it out, and then you don't put them greens in that nasty water. If you see that shit floating up on top of that, and that's nasty. You don't eat them people greens. You don't eat that because that's filth. Just like my ex, who taught me how to take a bath. Valerie, you have to get in that water, and you can't just get in there and say, "Oh, okay, I'm done now," and be done. No, you have to wash a couple of times and let that water out, and then. And I never put that and the pot together until this moment. Go figure. And I'm getting that these washings are reincarnations and rebirths. So just because you are born and you come through one time and you live and you exist and you go through this, that is why you die. You pour it out and you come back cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and cleaner until we get to this generation that is getting ready to bring about these changes from a conscious level. We're bringing it from the unconscious up into the conscious. We're able to do that. These were called the indigo children. These were called the 144,000. They come from every tribe. They are not specific to one group because that day and age is gone. And they have been scattered like the seeds of the earth, baby. So you don't know where they are and when they'll pop up. But you recognize them by the unconditional love that they have. Keep going. Architecture and structure take place inside of what? Space, womb. The foundation is built upon what? Earth. The mother. She who holds you up. She who with unconditional love supports all. Last night I posted, I was led to something on YouTube it was biblical. It caught my attention. And it was speaking about Zion and um, the building and the heavens and the pillars and all of this and the support. And beloveds, that's where all of this is coming from. So if you really want to know what the foundation of this is, I suggest you go to read Facebook, because I can't sit up here and tell you exactly word by word. Like I said, this is energy. This is spirit signatures and spiritual codes in the arrangement of letters and words, in the space where they are gathered. Okay, let me. Architecture and structure take place inside of what? Space, womb. The foundation is built up on what? Earth. The mother, she who holds you up. She who with unconditional love supports all, no matter frequency, spectrum, motives, right or wrong, or hierarchy of spiritual, earthly, corrupted values. I'm going to read this again because it's very, very powerful. I want you to use your imagination. And I want to take you way back to preschool and kindergarten, when you were learning with those little wooden things. Well, we did. Y'all got Legos and this and that now, but I'm an old child. I was born in the 60s, so this is what we played with. We played with the little wooden shapes and different things. And the circles, the triangles, the rectangles, they were used to build certain things. Okay? Architecture and structure. It's funny how we're taught that at that age about building. What is this presentation, this video called? The Ancient of Days, the stones the builder refused. It's very important. Architecture and structure take place inside of what? Space, womb. The foundation is built on what? Earth, the mother, she who holds you up, she who with unconditional love supports all, no matter frequency, spectrum, motives, right or wrong, or hierarchy of spiritual values. Why? Because all is one, and it will work itself out by design, not logic, not time, but original design, intent, instinct, and intuition. What's the first thing we are given? What's the first thing we do with our fingers and our hands? We build stuff. We as babies, you stack stuff on top of each other. You laying bricks. You're building up. You don't build down. You build up. You don't even know what you're doing. Instinct and intuition. From thousands, millions of years ago, before this galaxy and every multiverse, your instinct is still spiritual. To do what? To build. And to not think that it's your hand that's building this, but to see what's behind that. It's your instinct and intuition. It's your spirit that says build. Was you remember that? What was it? That Kevin Costner? You build it, they'll come. Many have said, do not put your trust in men, but have faith in your original purpose of existing. All the sages have basically said that, beloved. We expect men to lead us. We expect men, humanity, to have common sense. Not even wisdom sometimes. Just have some common sense. That's expecting too much. Small portion has it. The rest is over their heads. That's why we are in chaos and war. That's why it's so hard to get out of these cycles, because we're waiting for those who can raise their vibrations and frequencies up to that point. See, that's part of the design. That patience. That's why Moses didn't get to go to the promised land, because he lost his patience. He didn't endure to the end. He lost his faith in God, in the fact that he said, these fools, these people are stupid. They won't listen. They blah, 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 blah. Those people hardened Moses' heart against spirit, which was leading and building. He lost sight. And with that sight that he lost hope. And he lost foresight. And he lost instinct and intuition. So he was appreciated for all that time. But he was a lesson. He is an example of what can happen. And he's here again. He is reborn. He is here again. And he is going to be leading in this. The energy doesn't die, beloveds. The lessons, they don't die, beloveds. The stories may change. The names may change. The forms may change. The planets may change. The star constellations may change. But the energy of the truth is still that lion, baby. And it will eat you every single time. And who gives birth to that lion? Lioness. Many have said, do not put your trust in men, but have faith in your original purpose of existing, even if parts of it seem to be buried in your subconscious and unconscious. It is memory. It is stored wealth. It is your sovereign inheritance. No thief can take it from you. Not even death. That is the whole point of resurrection, rebirth, and reincarnation. Blew my mind, baby. Blew me wide open like a barn door, okay? And like a tornado it came through, okay? Ain't nothing else in there. Ain't nothing else, mama. Ain't nothing else to detail. Ain't nothing else. Ain't nothing else. Ain't nothing else. What have we heard from our ancestors? 7 generations from 7 generations from 7 generations. This will happen and that will happen and that will happen, and we will retake this and we will retake that. In the Bible, the first will be last, and then the last shall be first. Blah, 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 blah. Same message across the world, across the galaxy. Stop playing small. Stop looking at men like they are mice, like they are mosquitoes. Understand the stones. The stones. Understand the stones of which you are built, of which your temple is truly built. Okay? Don't be ashamed of your stones. Don't be ashamed of your roundness. Don't be ashamed and don't be controlled and put into this little box and measured by the what? What did that Jordan Peterson, what did he say about the ratio of your waist to hips? Say what? My beauty is defined in your mind by the spatial measurements, numbers of the ratio found with my waist and my hips. You see why Moses got so tired of people? You see why? Because they limit God. They limit spirit. They take him out of the equation and say, my preference is better. Why is my preference better? Because your little penis can only handle that ratio. So that's beautiful to you. Yeah, I said it. Drink some water, Valerie. Okay. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's on my Facebook page. Point of this paragraph that it is bubbling up in your conscious awareness right now from your subconscious and your unconscious. That is your true wealth. That is your true sovereignty. That is your sovereign inheritance as a sentient being, as a conscious being of choice, that no thief can take from you, no culture can take from you. Whether they strip you of your language, whether they strip you of your identity, whether you are born a boy and they say you are a girl, whether they say you come from slaves and you ain't nothing, whether they say if you were born in the North, you stupid, or if you're born in the South, you country, and you sure ain't got no sense. Whether they say civilized is better than savagery, and Christianity is better than heathenism. In their alternate realities of thievery. You know that Prince song, There Are Thieves in the Temple? Mm-hmm. Baby. Don't hold no animosity towards them. They are working from their alternate realities and they are living in the belief of the illusion. It is not for you to wake them up. It is for you to realize and recognize and exist as a sovereign, sentient being of spiritual conscious, expanding spiritual conscious choice. That is what will right what was turned upside down. Polarity. Turn it, flip it back up on the way it's supposed to. Flip that light switch up so that the light is on and not down where it's off. Not even death. Takes me to The Color Purple, Alice Walker. Not even death. The attack upon the divine feminine is an attack upon the unlimited potential of space, the truth of space. Okay? The truth. The truth is always the foundation that the lies are built upon. It is not the Sphinx, it is not the monuments, it is not the churches. It is the foundation that holds them, because that foundation is the earth that holds the different energies, grid lines, and frequencies and vibrations of that land mass, that point of ancient informations and formations. It's a flow. Just like the Vatican, just like the White House, just like all the monuments and all the gateways and doorways that you see that lead you into these places. Just like the Ancient of Days says they're spirit of days, they are spirits of those lands that were, those are the powers and principalities of those particular grid lines, those particular points and intersections. That which can be built there is based upon universal laws. Those laws are altered by the changing of the truth to the lie, of changing the belief into doubt. It is done gradually by polarities. The attack upon the divine feminine is an attack upon the unlimited potential of space. This is the big picture. Your spiritual observation and witness, your essence is the micro version. Let me say that again. The attack upon the divine feminine is an attack upon the unlimited potential of space. This is the big picture. Spirit has had me going on and on and on and on and on for days and weeks now, producing all kinds of things, giving birth to all kinds of Star Trek and this and that and this and that and bubbles and blah 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 blah. Okay? She's showing you. Look up. That's the big picture. Space, the final frontier, is the divine feminine. Earth represents that space in time on a specific timeline, vibration and frequency in the web of the universe. Your spiritual observation and witness of your existence is the micro version playing itself out. Thy kingdom come on earth as in the heavens. What does that mean, beloveds? Hold on just a second. I'm getting cold now, which means there's a lot of ancient energies. So just hold on one moment for me, beloveds. Okay. The macro and the micro vision, as above, so below. If you understand all the messages that you've been given back from the Sumerian ages and what they were showing you in their cuneiform and in their writings of the battle that took place in space between Marduk and Tiamat and how she was slain, the war that took place. That was the divine feminine being attacked. And that battle was lost. Her body became the Milky Way galaxy. Her wisdom, all of her energies, memories, messages stored in all the planets and all the stars that came about into being through this. This is where we get our myths and our stories and our information from. This is the micro and the macro cosmic understanding of thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heavens, playing itself out. Subconsciously, unconsciously, and now consciously, these truths are resurfacing. Why? Because it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot in here. Take off all your clothes. We're getting back naked again. We're getting rid of all the layers of the lies and all the needs for them. We're starting to recognize. Wait a minute. Don't no rabbit come out of no hat. That ain't no magic trick. That's a trick. But ain't nothing magic about it, okay? That's an illusion. Illusion of the mentality. Okay? We're getting back into the alchemical quantum physics and metaphysics of things that is feminine. That will lead you strictly, you can say that's the fallopian tubes, that will lead you, mama, where you need to go. Okay? Let me continue, beloveds. We are aware of the hierarchy of heaven, that there are many heavens as well as there are many hells and places of existence in between. The firmament and the waters, we have been told, and we need to remember those things. The firmament and the water. The firmament, the clouds. Clouds are made of what, baby? Water. You know, mist, gases. The waters, H2O. We're between them. That's where we exist. But energy draws from all these places in the subconscious, and the unconscious cannot be undone. No one can come and steal your unconsciousness from you. And it is from that unconscious awareness, from that nothingness, from that fertile blackness, that your spiritual intuition and your spiritual instincts are able to expand your conscious awareness up like a I'm seeing it like a deep sea diver swimming from the floors, the earthing floors of the ocean herself. Okay? And it's parting the waters with the hands and coming up. And I'm being told that this is one of the ways that's an ancient memory. Okay. Ancient memory of how life began in one of the worlds. So that amphibian whole thing, it is a thing in a multiverse that happened. And so when people write about that in their different stories with the mermaids and the this and the that and the that and the this, it's all here, beloveds. It has all happened on this earth plane. Energy cannot be destroyed. Nobody can come and steal those images, those memories. It is not fake and it is not imagined. It is not illusion. It is rooted in the very foundation of your existence as a spiritual being inside of this flesh. It is your spirit that observes the world. It is your mind that tells you what you're observing and what that makes you feel and blah 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 and your judgment on it and da 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 da. Big distinction, night and day. Let there be light. Let there be conscious awareness from the unconscious darkness. Let it rise. We are aware of the hierarchy of heaven, that there are many heavens as well as there are many hells and places of existence in between the firmament and the waters. The universe gives us high and low frequencies as forces used to determine any given day. The universe gives us high and low frequencies as forces used to determine any given day. Now, they say that there's a deeper meaning of that. Those forces are the sun and the moon. That's the solar and the lunar. Those are the forces that this is speaking of, used to determine any given day. Now we know that the moon influences the tide influences women's hormones and lunacy and la 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 la. We are just now beginning to understand that it is the sun that also does the polar opposite of that brings about the stability. It is the solar rays, the ultraviolet, the unseen ones, that will stabilize the conscious awareness, that help it emerge from those lunar waters. The narrative of the divine feminine under attack is as ancient as breath, heartbeat, and bone. That made me want to cry when I wrote it. The narrative of the divine feminine under attack is as ancient as breath, as heartbeat and bone. That is the force behind physical existence. That is the reason on earth we have physical bodies, breath, heartbeat, and bone. Because the narrative has to be on earth as it is in heaven. We are unfolding. We're getting to that point. Put not your faith in men, baby. Don't worry about the chaos. We gonna get there. This generation, this Aquarian age, it is an age of conscious, pure consciousness, resurrecting, regenerating, resurfacing, surface and resurfacing, building sand with bricks. I am the stone that the builders refused. The Ancient of Days transmission. From the cosmic view to the earthly view, let us look at religion, the stepmother that blew me away. Because religion, I learned of religion as a Jehovah's Witness, as the whore of Babylon. There's a reason why she's the whore. What's the oldest job, the oldest profession? What did that oldest profession do? It catered to men sexually. It comforted them. It rocked them. Orgasmically, it put them to sleep. It gave them something they could trust. The ancient prostitutes were priestesses. They were not streetwalkers like you find nowadays, who are addicted to, who are there because of their trauma and drama. I don't knock streetwalkers. Baby, I was a single mother. And I know what I had to do sometime to get my baby's formula, baby. Hey. And that didn't mean I went and walked on the streets. But that meant I did things that I didn't want to do. But I had to do. Within my own relationship sometimes. Because you have to coddle. And you have to be docile. And you have to be receptive to what somebody else's wants and needs. In order to take care of your reality. So when you see those strippers up there on them poles working, upside down and downside up and hours and being belittled and have money thrown at them and this and that and that and that and this. Baby, don't look down on them women. Don't look down on them. I never have. Never considered myself better than near one of them. Them Eve's daughters, okay? Religion. From the cosmic view to the earthly view, let us look at religion, the stepmother. We spoke about Tiamat and being killed. Tiamat being killed, okay? Understand her body being dispersed. Understand the conqueror's story always being the narrative that is used and not the victim's truth. Or the other party's truth, whether they were victimized or not. Only one story is told. The other one is changed and marginalized as less than. Remember that. So when I say the divine feminine is under attack as the Ancient of Days, and it is as an old narrative, it's as ancient as the galaxies themselves. Understand what I'm talking about. Religion is the stepmother, the red-headed stepmother, the mean Cinderella stepmother, the one whose lies come before the truth, whose narcissistic values must be upheld and supported. Spirituality is the Cinderella. When you knock down and throw, you make work for you or work behind the scenes, and you know how the story goes. Love it. It's an ancient old story. Spirituality is now at a point where she has gotten her ticket to the ball. She has been seen. And she knows she's been seen. And so now she knows something is going to happen to get her to that ball. Something is going to happen to get her to that promised land of happily ever after. All she got to do is hold over. Don't put your faith in stepmama. Don't put your faith in the sisters. Don't put your faith in the men. Don't put your faith in the king that's throwing the ball. Don't put your faith in the prince. Don't put your faith in none of that. Know that something greater is behind it all. And that story was written long ago. And don't worry about your role in it, and if you're going to mess it up or you're going to make the wrong choice. Don't work that way. That's your mind. Listen to your spirit. Observe from your spirit. And it'll steal that mind. It'll make it shut up. It'll make it a dog whistle that you don't hear no more. That'll get fainter and fainter and fainter. And you'll pay less attention to it and less attention to it and less attention to it. And it won't be so loud and overwhelming. You know how autistic children and noises? Well, that we're autistic children living in the chaos of this world, and sometimes we don't want to be touched. Okay. Okay. Mm. Spirituality, the mother. Look at them both as spaces, wombs to be filled by men's conscious awareness of himself. As Christianity is the largest religion of this day, we will use it. It offers a mother, a church, foundation, earth, space, womb. It says, the Father who resides in heaven is the head of the mother who is earth. Through divine union of individual mother and father, which produces the collective offspring, who even in the Christian space fractures and splinters because of disagreement over powers and principalities of right and wrong arguments, of right and wrong arguments. And this is found in every religion known to man. And right and wrong arguments, right, Righthrite, and Write, and wrong. And when it speaks of, I'm being shown David's house and how David was supposed to build the temple and how David was one of God's favorites. But what threw David off his game was his lust for Bathsheba and his killing of Uriah. And the household that ensued from all of that. That's where a lot of the breakdown began in the age of David, in the kingdom and kingship of David. That is where a lot of the Solomon light and dark forces were battling it out in that time period. And from that came the ages that we see now with the different religions, Christian, Islamic, all and everything in between. Families warring within each other, even bloodlines. One of David's sons raped his sister by another mother because there was what poly marriages. There were more. The men married many women to produce children. Those children resented each other, their position. And I'm just using this as an example, as one example. The recognition of their sovereignty as sentient beings of choice broke down. And here we are, scattered among the earth, awakening and realizing who we are and what our true inheritance is, and that it's not money. It is the actual fact that we are born here on earth and that we get to build our kingdoms here. Within wisdom's design, space was allotted to the feminine as receptor, incubator, mother, deliverer. The child/manifestation born of the mother cannot exist/function without her story being fulfilled by its existence. This is witnessed and observed by all watchers in all galaxies, in all courts of universal laws, no matter the case at hand, no matter who has tried, and that's the jury tried, and the tried and triad, tried, Trinity tried, that word try is in there, to overthrow that triangle. That pyramid is very important. No matter who has tried, the mother, the father, the son, no matter who has tried to overthrow the natural order of creation, it is finite. Have faith in that, regardless of what the physical eyes and physical bio bodies, hormones, and chemical essences declare to be real. I'm going to read that again because it's very powerful, beloved. The child manifestation born of the mother cannot exist or function without her story. We would not exist without the mother's narrative. We would not be fleshed out. We would not be resurrecting, being born, dying, and being reborn without the original story. And we must give recognition to the story. We must honor the story. We must honor and give thanks to that which brought us forth, to that which we are mimicking, to that which we are multiplying, to that which we are making. But we must reach inside our consciousness and realize, well, why is this not working? Because we are not seeing the original spirit. We are not honoring the original spirit. We are giving more honor to the flesh. We are giving more value to the flesh and to the senses than respect to the spirit. The child manifestation born of the mother cannot exist, function without her story. And I'm to say that is why Jesus, the story of Jesus and Mary, is so important, because what? The Father is a spirit. And what are you supposed to give your attention and awareness to? That spirit. And what is divine spirit? It is both masculine and feminine. So it does not take away from. Masculine and feminine are aspects of being. One is receptive and one gives. But when you take instead of give, you alter the dynamic. You alter the chemistry. You alter the code. You alter her story. Because now she's been raped, plundered, ripped apart, her borders. Her value is never the same again. And until we see that with our own bodies and realize that we are connected, your kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. There's always an unseen if there's a seen. And beloveds, Spirit wanted me to bring to your awareness and your attention the words, very specifically, seen, SCENE and SEEN, and for you to understand intuitively and instinctively the difference and the values between the two. There is always an unseen if there is a seen. This is the stone that the builders refused, as they rewrote the story over and over and over, only to have it keep blowing up in their face. No matter the artificial technology advances, ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Often duplicated, never replicated, because of the unseen. You cannot produce the unseen. Male patriarchy cannot give birth to the unseen. They cannot give birth to spirit. They can artificially create anything else. They can even say that their artificial intelligence has a consciousness. And in all of their futures, that consciousness has did what? Come back to destroy them. Why? Because they were the weakest link. Because you cannot retell the story. And I hope we learn. I don't hope. I know we will learn this. We will learn this. We will get there. And this is the age that will allow us to get there. Because it's rising within us, beloveds. It's surfacing. It's resurfacing. And the truth has such a different vibration than the lie. And once you've tasted the truth, baby, artificial, just don't cut it. Don't cut it. Don't measure. You know that little ratio, waist to hip? It don't cut it. Minute Man shit don't cut it. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Often duplicated, never replicated. Because of the unseen. Peace, stillness, silence. Non-doing, only being. Resting within the expanding spiritual consciousness. Conscious awareness. Again, this is rising up within me, beloveds, is that we have paid attention to Genesis, the book of Genesis in the Bible. And all the focus has been on the first 6 days. And nobody has ever thought about that 7th day of rest, where everything else was just observed. There was no doing. There was only being. That's paradise. That's where paradise is found. That is where everlasting life is found. That is where immortality and what is it, the river of youth and all of that's found there. In the resting from the mind, away from the mind, from the war, from the chaos of the noise, from the clash of the different forces. when you rise, when you ascend from that way of knowing, when you pass beyond that. And there is no way to pass beyond it but to go through it. Just like being born, you have to come through a mother, regardless if it's a C-section or test tube baby or blah, 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 blah. You still have to come through what? A mother and a father. I'm not forgetting you, sacred masculine. Please don't think that this is a toxic female bashing of the divine masculine. It is not that. They are polarities. One cannot exist without the other. So that divine feminine, she knows this. She knows this. She knows what that pillar stands for, that pillar. She understands what that does for her. She understands when she hovers over it and sinks down upon it. What is the dynamics, the frequencies, the portals, the waves of what she is imitating if she is spiritually present within herself. She understands that what she is able to raise from that masculine. And from that, what she is able to store and give birth to. And what they are able to take care of. She receives from him. Without him, there is nothing to receive. If there is nothing to receive, she is empty and barren. Her story is not true. It is not fulfilled. It is not fulfilling. But she has to find what reflects who she is in her own being as a spiritual, sentient, sovereign being of choice. And what she is able to bring forth from someone who matches her energy. Paradise, heaven, nirvana, it's been called. Bliss. But when that does not happen, and she's been traded off, or she's been raped and ravaged, what she gives birth to is fracture. It is hell. Because that's what she has received. And that's what she would give birth to. Peace, stillness, silence, non-doing, only being, resting within the expanding spiritual conscious awareness, subconscious awareness, and unconscious awareness. The Holy Trinity, of the divine feminine waters and waves. And that is it, beloveds. That is this communication from the Ancient of Days, the stone the builders refused. And that is going to do it for me. I hope that you are able to be nurtured, nourished, and comforted by this space that has been opened and that is opening to you. Um, I'll be coming forward more often as I feel the need to. Um, faith in spirit, not in men. If it's in men, you'll be let down. If it's in spirit, you'll be raised. You'll be raised. You'll be raised. It's up to you. It's a conscious choice where you choose to reside in spirit, in frequency, in spectrum, in existence, within existence, as existence. Fear not the story of thieves, the barking of the chihuahua, the growling. Lionesses give birth to lions. Lions have nothing to fear from chihuahuas. Okay? You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to mock the chihuahua because it feels a certain kind of way about you. Know thyself. Know the spirit within you. Know what animates you. It is not your mind. Stop identifying with your mind and your persona and your personality. Those were invented. Those were created by men's conscious, unconscious, and subconscious desires of a ratio of what is beautiful and what is popular and what makes the most money and what should be the most appealing and blah, 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 blah. And only a small elite number fit in that little fetish gilded box and it's rare and everybody wants to rush it. If you don't have it, you baby, please miss me with that bullshit. Like I said, for so much intelligence to be founded, to be you move all of that and you see the cracks, the shoddy materials. You didn't use the right kind of stone. You refuse. You didn't use the stone, the true stone, foundation stone. You chose to make your own with ratio and build and your architectural Bullshit. Mama said, Mama said, weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Motherfucker. Woo! Okay, that's it, beloveds. I'll just, whoo, that was deep. And beloveds, I've been sharing with you that my body is detoxing and there's so much going on. But I realized over the past, I say the past 15 years, I have been losing things that I have held on to, that I've hoarded, piece by piece, brick by brick, so to speak, stone by stone. And it's all bringing me to this point, and okay, your foundation is cleared now. Are you going to use this stone that the builders refuse? It's amazing because here we go round in circles. So much is circling back for me to look upon. So many situations, so many memories. That is the sun and the moon. That's the solar reflections and the lunar reflections. That's light and day that create the shadow beam, the illusion, that which is not real. Read Peter Pan again and go into that shadow. Um, the ugly duckling is coming up for the aspect of beauty. Those are the polarities. Um, as well as um, Three Billy Goats Gruff came up. The troll and the three goats. There we go with that trinity again. The conscious, the unconscious, and the subconscious. The unconscious being the smallest goat, the subconscious being the middle goat, and the conscious being the big Billy goat. And whoop that let me stop. But I want you to understand the energies and the forces that are coming together on your behalf are ancient. And there's nothing the seen that man, that human beings, that galactic forces, the whatever you want to call it, up, down, sideways, multi-dimension, it's nothing that can redirect the original route, the original programming, the original design is unalterable. We will arrive. Have trust in that. And just stand up for that. When you vote, when it's time for you to speak, speak on the truth. Speak about the truth. And understand that that truth may grow and expand, or it may change, or it may alter as you do. That's called maturity. That's called growth. That's not the pubescent and the infant mentality that nothing changes. And I get to have my way because I want it that way. Or I'm going to rebel because I can't have it that way. Or I'm going to have a hissy fit. Or I'm going to throw a tantrum. Or I'm going to lie and scheme and steal my way out of it and cheat. When you see that behavior, call it out. You're wrong. You need to rethink that. You need to redirect yourself. I think you have an entity attachment that's influencing you. I love you, but I don't love your entity attachment. I hear you, I see you, and I'm here for you, but I'm not here to deal with your entity attachment. Mm-mm. You want to deal with me? Get rid of that. That and I cannot coexist in the same space, in the same narrative. We clash. And I'm peace. I'm not finna go there. I'm not finna indulge the entity in that storm. I'm not finna do it. Don't have to. I choose not to. Choose me. I choose peace. I choose to coexist and exist as a stone that the builders refused. And I'm building with that. So all those bricks you throwing my way, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. Because I am the foundation. And what I build from here upwards, I am power. From the space of I am that I am. And it don't get no deeper than that, baby. Don't get no deeper than that. Okay, that's it. Um, let's see. Let's just see, beloveds. Medicine, woman dead. Again, I'm not going to get anything from the book. I'm not going to use the book right now. This is strictly what Spirit has to say about this. Okay, these three came out. Eight of Stones is rebeating. It is valuing what you make with your hands. It is knowing that the divine feminine creates. She creates. From the green, how does your garden grow, Mary Mary? Mary Mary is not contrary to the nature of creation. This bag represents what is stored, the ancients' medicine, wisdom. She has all that she needs around her. The things that she has always also created are here. She wears them. She is one with what she is and wears. The sun is shining and setting or rising on her always. The Princess of Pipes. Ah, I see the heron or the stork. Heron or stork. I see blue roses, blue lotus, blue flowers. I see a golden eagle. I see lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Huh. 11 bars of lightning above her, opening a doorway. She is the physical, representing the spiritual in the dance. She is an apprentice. She is an initiate. She is a beginner. She is practicing her form. Practicing her form. The divine feminine practicing her form. Wow. 11 being the gateway. Bird wings flight, lifting off. 1 foot on the ground. Balance those legs. Remember, my legs were swollen. Putting my legs up. Wow. Okay, Mama. The last card that popped out of that deck was the Ten of Stones. Wow. It's completion of the Eight of Stones. This was the first card, the Eight of Stones. Find your balance in what you create. It is your narrative that you open and what you receive from Spirit. And then share what you have created. Show what has come from your womb from time beginning. Remember I said that that bag was ancient from her ancestors, her store, her treasure trove. There's a lot there, beloveds. That is going to do it. Okay. I don't wear this lavender purple wig that much, but when I do, I always am amazed at the energy that's flowing when it's chosen. If only I think I've worn it maybe once or twice in other videos. Um, but usually when I wear it, when this wig is selected, okay, beloveds, namaste.